Alright, so this is my AP Bio field site for 2020 to 2021. Alright, so we're going to start off just overview of my field site. My field site was my backyard, so it was primarily used by people like family and neighbors. It had a lot of different trees, grass, and other plants like shrubs and different bushes, stuff like that. That made the land usable for small animals like birds, squirrels, and rabbits, as well as small like insects and bugs like mosquitoes, bees, and beetles. How it changed throughout the year. Throughout the year, there were obvious temperature changes with the different seasons. It started off in August. It was pretty warm. It cooled down for the winter months, and now it's warm again in May for the spring. In the colder months, there was less obvious activity from animals, and many of the trees and plants lost their leaves or they died, which was obvious through the brown color. Other than the temperature changes and its resulting consequences, there were little changes in the field site throughout the year. The weather was not noticeably different or worse in any of the months. It was pretty constant and stable. But in the more recent spring months, there was more animal activity, and it's a lot more bright and lively during the spring and May than in previous months throughout the year. And these are pictures of the field site throughout the year. On the left is the pictures from May, and then the same corresponding picture on the right from August, just to see how the site changed a little bit. Then there's another picture, and then of the actual spot that I sat to complete the field sites. Alright, and then my Pheneology Tree. During the year, my Pheneology tree had pretty large and noticeable changes. During the fall and winter months, it lost all its leaves, and those grew back pretty slowly, and the leaves were very small at first when they grew back in the spring and into the summer months now. The number of branches did stay consistent throughout the year. Like a few other things about the tree stay consistent as well, like the non-existent smell of the branches and leaves throughout the year, and there was also rarely any evidence of animals using the tree. Like there were no nests or any obvious animals on the tree as well. But sometimes there were little holes in the leaves, like it was being eaten by an organism. And then we can see how the tree lost its leaves. There's an actual picture of the tree in August and then a sketch in January of what the tree looked like, where you can see that it had no leaves. And then biological artifacts from my field site. We can see there's those little helicopter seeds right here, and then a pine cone, a little mushroom, and then this dead log right here. And then the connection to the course units with that log we're going to talk about now. So the log, obviously it had a hard woody surface that's made out of the dead xylem cells. This connects to our current anatomy and physiology unit. The xylem cells form part of the circulation system in a plant. It brings nutrients up from the roots into the rest of the plant. And that hard woody surface also aids in the immune response, as it's the first line of defense against pathogens. It provides a physical barrier between the plant's internal and external environment. And the log is dead, so we know that it's decomposing as it's out in the environment. That connects to the oncology unit that we had earlier this year. Certain organisms get their energy by eating dead matter, like decomposers, and this helps to give back to the environment from the dead matter and make new matter out of that to sustain more life. And at one point, the log needed energy to sustain its life and to live, and that connects to cellular endogenetics. We know that the leaves of this tree would produce glucose from light energy, carbon dioxide, and water in photosynthesis, which happened in the chloroplast of those leaf cells, and that's, what the plant cells would break down for their cellular energy, and this would be transported to other cells by phloem cells connecting to the circulation system in that plant as well. Oops. Alright, and then my dad's story about him and his environment as a child. So I had that conversation with my dad, and he grew up in Pennsylvania, so the environment was obviously much more different than it is in Myrtle Beach, due to, geography, but also the time as well. And there was a lot less human involvement in the area due to the difference in the time and the human development. as time progresses. So obviously, due to the less development in the area, it was obviously a more enriching experience to interact with that local environment. He told me about a situation. There was a stream in the woods near his house, and it had lots of salamanders, and that seems like pretty enriching and interesting. It seemed really fun. I would like to experience something like that personally. But it is kind of sad to think about how the human development would kind of change, not for the better, a situation like that. If there were a place like that here, we would probably see it destroyed because we cut down a lot of wooded areas to build houses, to encourage more people to come and move down here and progress our human development and industrialization here. We also would fill in the water streams, which, salamanders would need that water, so they wouldn't be in a place like that either, and they probably wouldn't want to interact with the people in that area as well, and humans wouldn't want like the pests. So you see a lot of humans disrupting those natural environments, and it leads to a lot less enriching experiences with their natural environment. And I think it's kind of disappointing to see how the new generations are having more and more removed experiences from what the actual environments in the areas that they reside should be, and that's all due to human involvement. And what I learned from my field experiences, I definitely learned to enjoy being outside and in our environments a lot more than I did before. And I feel like as you grow up, you start to not enjoy being outside as much. Like, you have more things to do that like really take you away from just fun recreational activities like being outside. But I think this is a good way for me to return back to that, because it was really relaxing, but it was also emotionally enriching, as it was like an educational experience. So it didn't feel like a waste of time. And I actually enjoyed and look forward to these experiences because I got to return back to being outside and really see what I was missing and how much I enjoyed being outside in our natural environment. And this is my field site selfie.